Pursuant to Section 84-1411 of the Nebraska statutes, the next regular meeting of the Board of Education of Douglas County School District 0001 and the Board of Education Service Unit Number 19 will be held Tuesday, September 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the Board Meeting Room of the Teacher Administrative Center, 3215 Cumming Street. The agenda will be kept current and available for public inspection in the Office of the Secretary of the Board of Education at the Administrative Building during regular working hours. Please note that in October, November, and December, the board meetings will take place at North High School. Pursuant to Section 84-1412 of the Nebraska statutes, the public is hereby informed that a current copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted on the north wall of the board meeting room. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice President Smith, could you please lead us in the vision and mission?
The vision: every student, every day, prepared for success. And the mission: to prepare all students for success in college, career, and life.
Thank you. Dr. McFarland, roll call, please.
Holman.
Present.
Juarez.
Here.
Kratky.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Thielen.
Here.
Cassidy.
Here.
Erdenberger. Full. 8 present.
Thank you. Do we have any motions to excuse absences? And Ms. Full did let me know ahead of time that she'd be absent. Yep. All right. We have a motion by Ms. Erdenberger. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Cassidy. Any discussion? Dr. McFarland, please call the roll.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger.
Aye.
Head.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
Juarez.
Aye.
Kratky.
Here.
Smith.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
I hate it when
Thielen.
Aye.
8 aye.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to School Spotlight with Mr. Maskell.
President Head, Vice President Smith, members of the board, and Interim Superintendent Ray. Tonight's OPS Proud Spotlight recognizes students from South High and Mars Middle who placed at the National African American History Challenge competition this summer. Coaches Sheila McCauley and Susan Ernst will begin tonight.
Hi, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the board, the administration from Mars and the administration from South, and the 100 Black Men organization for giving our kids the opportunity to attend the national competition. It was a great experience for them.
Good evening, and I'm Sheila McCauley, and I just want to tell you a little bit about the competition. Our students traveled to Las Vegas to compete at the national competition. Both teams competed in 3 rounds of competition to earn the right to be in the finals competition. And at the finals competition, South High School placed second, and Mars won the national competition. So I'd like to introduce our students at this time. From South, we have Sierra Thomas and Mackenzie James.
From Mars, President, we have Henry Greger and Joey De Santiago, and I'm missing Chol and Dontel McNeil.
I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the board for this opportunity to compete at the national level. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you all for being here. Congratulations on your successes. Do we have any questions, comments, colleagues? Ms. Cassidy?
Come on, you know you all want to go first. Well, we're all thinking it. This is so we've seen you all here before. I mean, come on, this is becoming how many times now? This is a reoccurrence, which we love. But congratulations. I hope Vegas was a great time. Thanks for bringing home the first and the second. This is becoming kind of the legacy, I guess we'll call it, between our Mars and then our graduating right up to South. So we just hope that it continues on. Ladies, right? We're going to just, now, will all of you up here tell us what year you are right now in school?
I'm in 8th grade.
Okay.
I am also in 8th grade.
I'm a sophomore.
I'm also a sophomore.
Okay, so then my next question, how many are on each team? Like, will these two be able to travel right onto the South team next year? How does it work team-wise? I'm already thinking to just keep this train moving, so how do the teams work? If anybody can answer that.
Well, we need to have a team of three, so
okay.
2 that compete and then an alternate. And then they can compete and win at the national levels just once during that time frame of middle school or high school. And so hopefully this group will move right on to South and continue this legacy.
Very great. Well, thank you all for being here. I know it's a hot night to come out to a board meeting, so we thank you very much. And thank you to both Susans, if you will, for taking on being coaches of extraordinary students. You make us proud, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Well, congratulations again. Thank you for all your work. We look forward to seeing you back here next year. But if you could come around to give everybody a handshake, high five, and we have some pins for you as well.
That's cute. Molly, go ahead. He studied so much for that.
Okay, one more. Keep going. Smile. Come on, Kenzie.
Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
All right. Moving on to board and superintendent comments. Mr. Ray.
Good evening, President Head, Vice President Smith, and members of the board. We're back in session, and there are so many things to celebrate. I want to highlight our Back to School Bash. Thousands of families joined us that Saturday. Students met school staff and families and talked with community partners. It's about building excitement and relationships before the school year begins. These connections mean better teamwork to address attendance, academics, and student success. Quoting one parent from the event, this is important. I like seeing the community come together for all the families getting ready for school. Last week, we had the privilege of welcoming over 52,000 students. And as part of that recognition, we recognized teacher Kay Hensley, who welcomed her 41st year as a kindergarten teacher at Franklin Elementary. In the very same classroom. It's an example of incredible dedication by staff throughout the Omaha Public Schools. There's no doubt we tackle challenges each day, and we thank the staff for doing extra. More routes, more overages, and to deliver all that for our students. Staying on transportation, we have an important step tonight on the board agenda. In August, we presented staffing data. The Omaha Public Schools transportation team is about 75% staffed. We're hiring, and we continue to hire qualified drivers, while current staff pick up multiple routes each day. Despite everyone's best efforts and long hours, some students and families are waiting longer than they should. Our labor partners have agreed to contract out unstaffed routes for the 23-24 school year. Thanks to Steve Owens for his work in recognition of this important step. This is not replacing any district staff. Jobs are still posted and open for Omaha Public Schools. As we hire new employees, the number of contracted routes may drop. This is about working together for a safe, reliable trips to schools. Thank you again to our labor partners for this proposed agreement. We will continue to support our transportation teams, recruit qualified drivers, and communicate with our families. Finally, student and staff achievements are also attached to tonight's agenda and will be posted on all school and district website announcements tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Now moving to board comments, colleagues. Ms. Kratky?
I had the opportunity to go with Mr. Ray to Crest Ridge for our one-on-one, and we had a great time there. And we got a wonderful goodie bag from the principal for coming. And they have those nice terrazzo floors, which are really nice to walk on. It's an older school, but it's just so kept up well. And that's the dual language, you know, so they do a great job over there. And I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Erdenberger?
Thank you, President Head. I just wanted to follow up on what Mr. Ray said about the Back to School Bash, which was fantastic, and just give a special shout out to all of the members of our staff that did double, triple duty to be there. I know that each of our elementary schools had staff that was sitting out in the heat, handing out goodies and greeting the incoming students for several hours, and we had some of our administrative staff handing out hot dogs and T-shirts and reminding people what the website looks like and whatnot. So it was just fun. It was fantastic. On the off chance that our former superintendent either is watching or hears about our meetings, I just wanted to say I've now had 5 town hall meetings in my sub-district, and universally, she gets lots of kudos for all that was accomplished in the last 5 years, and I couldn't agree more, but I just thought I'd throw that out there as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Cassidy?
Okay, thank you. I want to highlight two things quickly. I'll start with just our back to school. Just wanted to say thank you to all of our staff, our principals, our teachers, our paraprofessionals, everyone that is working diligently in the classrooms. But I want to really highlight, and I'm probably just thinking about the heat that we're all enduring right now, I want to highlight those that are working in the heat. Our bus drivers, my bus driver was really hot this morning, so shout out to Arla. She's doing a great job. I really appreciate her driving as well as all of our drivers, and I think I thank her profusely every morning for driving that bus with those crazy elementary kids. So thank you to all of our bus drivers, our OPS, our STA. We appreciate all of your hard work. Our nutrition workers that are in those hot kitchens, our custodians, our engineers, those that are taking care of our buildings, keeping them looking great. I just really am thinking about the heat tonight, so I thought I would highlight those folks. I also want to wish all of our fall athletes, our athletes in fall sports, and again, I'm thinking of the heat. I'm very thankful tonight that a lot of sports were canceled due to the heat. Thank you. I was going to try to hit a softball game if the board meeting ended up getting out any amount of time I could, but I don't have to because thankfully softball games were canceled for my kiddo tonight. So thank you all district-wise who made those decisions. But best of luck to all of our fall athletes. Hopefully the heat breaks soon and we'll have some good seasons underway. Football games, golf, cross country. Gosh, I'll miss a few softball, but good luck to all of our fall athletes. And finally, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the folks at the Kiewit Luminarium. I attended their Meander event over the weekend. They highlighted the grand opening of Omaha's riverfront by having an event at the Luminarium, and I took my youngest daughter, and it was great. It's very fun if you've not been there. Hopefully you'll get an opportunity. There's about, I think, 125 exhibits that we kind of played around, and everything is science and STEM. It's a really neat place. So I just want to thank the folks at the Kiewit Luminarium for the chance to visit and meander a little bit throughout their space. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Holman?
Well, I had a list of thank yous too. Miss Cassidy mentioned them all. The only other person that I wanted to add to the list was Mr. Ray. Thank you so much for not only agreeing to be our interim superintendent, but also making sure that this was an extremely smooth start to the school year. This was, it's been fantastic so far, and I've heard nothing but wonderful things about the start to this school year. So thank you so much for stepping in and being our leader.
Thank you. Ms. Juarez?
Thank you, President Spencer. So I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer in the crowd, but I'm not going to be talking about welcoming aspects like this tonight. What I wanted to mention was in regards to a newspaper article that appeared in the World Herald, and it has to do with the Buffett Early Childhood Institute shows Nebraska is moving in the wrong direction to achieve full funding for high-quality early childhood education. And when you consider the legislation that's passed, and the other aspects that are going on in our community as far as education goes, I just wanted to bring attention to this issue. I hope the families in our community stay informed, make sure that you speak with your representatives, and to please stay on top of these issues that are going on in our community, because I'm very concerned about the trajectory that our state is going. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to real quick echo basically everybody else's comments from so far. It was great seeing so many families join us at the Back to School Bash. Thank you to all the administration, teachers, staff, everybody else who was there helping out as well. It was great. It was a great way to kick off the school year again with a lot of excitement, a lot of smiles on kids' faces, face painting, getting to meet your principal and everything. So thank you to everyone who helped out with that. Thank you to everyone who attended. As of this morning, I think we have 52,500 students, give or take, enrolled, so more than last year, and they're still enrolling. Thank you to all of our administrative staff that are helping make sure that we get all those kids placed. I know it's probably not easy figuring out when kids are still enrolling after the school year started where you're going to place them, how we're going to get them to school, but that's gone extremely smoothly so far. So kudos to you, Mr. Ray, for a great start to your interim school year. I had the opportunity to be at Mountain View for the first day of school last week, sorry. Welcoming the kids back, giving them high fives, welcoming everyone into the building with their parents, and it was just so exciting to see the excitement that all the students had, the smiles on their faces as they were coming back into the building. So, again, let's make it a great school year. But so far, great work, everybody. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Just wanted to give a couple of updates. The Accountability Committee did meet Thursday and has a draft schedule of community forums for our superintendent search. Through the weekend, we asked all board members for their feedback so we could kind of incorporate that. Our committee will make the appropriate updates, and we plan to publish the schedule by the end of this week. That gives us 5 full weeks for staff, families, and community to put the forums on their calendars. We have thought of our staff, families, and the community in drafting the schedule. So right now we have forums planned in each board sub-district across the city. Several forums are available and accessible via Metro Transit. Bilingual liaisons will be available at each forum. There will be in-person and virtual options as well. Sessions will be during the day, evenings, and on a weekend. When the schedule is finished, we will email it to all staff, families, and high school students. We will post it on the school and district website homepages. Link will be on district social media and sent to news media. And our superintendent search survey opens again on September 25th. If you do not complete the survey in May, please take it this fall. The survey will be open to any community member and available in several languages. Forums and the survey will ask about our school district strengths, opportunities, the characteristics of an ideal superintendent. Whether you complete the survey, attend in person, or participate virtually, there are many ways to be a part of this process. Community members can always contact us by email, or contact information is posted on ops.org. Omaha Public Schools is Nebraska's largest school district. We are one of the state's largest employers. We ask for plenty of community input to make the best decision possible. And again, that will open on September 25th, again, if you missed it. If you don't go to a meeting that's in your district, that's fine. All of them are open. If you don't attend as a stakeholder or as a person of interest with a particular organization or entity, you can still attend these meetings and participate. But again, we ask that you fill out the survey so we can get that documented and use that as the search goes forward. Some separate information is just finishing the goals for the superintendent interim matrix. We plan to bring that to the full board in September. And just a reminder for the community, the board will evaluate the interim superintendent twice during the school year. And that is all for my communications at this time.
Thank you.
Spencer?
Ms. Erdenberger?
Yeah, I didn't know that the committee report was going to be part of board comments, so I just want to confirm. I sent some questions and comments on Thursday. I just want to make sure that you got them, because I was going to ask them during the information session, but I just want to make sure you got my questions.
Yeah, we get my
Okay.
email is currently on the fritz right now, so we're getting that
I
fixed.
sent
But
it to
did.
both
Yeah,
both
but
email
I
addresses.
did get them, and
Okay, thanks.
we'll talk about it next week.
Thank you. All right, moving on to consent agenda. At this point in time, any board member may request that any item on the consent agenda be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. Do we have a motion to remove any items? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda that's before us?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Thielen. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Holman. Are there any abstentions? Ms. Cassidy?
You knew that was coming. Yes, I once again need to abstain from item I-13 for my role with the Omaha Public Schools Foundation Board of Directors. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other abstentions? Seeing none, Dr. McFarland, please call the roll.
Smith,
Aye.
Thielen,
Aye.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Erdenberger. Head,
Aye.
Holman,
Aye.
Juarez,
Aye.
Kratky,
Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to information items now, we have item J1A, aligning continuous improvement, a common understanding of effective schools with Miss Suzanne Kramer.
Good evening, President Head, Vice President Smith, Interim Superintendent Ray, and members of the board. Last spring, we shared our plan for support of our designated Comprehensive Support for Improvement, or CSI schools, and our alignment work to a single continuous improvement model that came with those efforts. We are continuing to take steps toward evidence of improvement and impact by further tightening alignment of these processes to accreditation. Rule 10 requires all Nebraska school districts to engage in continuous improvement as part of that process, and as part of that process, host an external review every 5 years to receive accreditation. This evening, we'll update you on our ongoing alignment work and the next steps that we'll take as we pursue evidence of impact and improvement relative to our strategic plan. So why alignment? A key lever for systems improvement is radical alignment, which depends on aligning everyone's behavior and decision-making to a collectively owned vision and strategy. How are we working toward this in the Omaha Public Schools? Internally, we're sharing our improvement stories. We are working to achieve boundarylessness across our divisions. We're aligning our resources and decision-making and focusing on our core work through implementation and monitoring of our learning framework. In the left-hand column, you see represented where we've been in terms of continuous improvement and accreditation processes in the Omaha Public Schools. On the right-hand column, you'll see where we're going and the steps that we're taking to get better at getting better. Systems accreditation is an important next step so that we all, from the classroom to the boardroom, have a common understanding of what makes an effective school. Moving forward, the Omaha Public Schools will be engaging in systems accreditation with Cognia. Systems accreditation with Cognia is the launching point for all continuous improvement. It's a globally recognized, rigorous continuous improvement process and involves 3 main phases that you see on your screen. Self-assessment, which we'll engage in this coming year with a steering committee that I'll talk more about in a moment, engagement, and then progress. Again, a common K-12 systems accreditation supports evidence-based conversations and actions about what makes effective schools. The OPS learning framework represents our vision for quality experiences for all students. Accreditation helps us understand if we're implementing well, where we have strengths, where we have growth areas, relative to our common performance standards. Together, Cognia's research-based performance standards and the OPS learning framework represent the shared understanding needed to achieve measurable and meaningful improvement. So across the next 2 years, as we engage in candidacy and then our scheduled external review, we will be looking for evidence of leadership for learning, evidence of learner engagement, evidence of growth in learning, and evidence of healthy school cultures for learning. In addition to a shared understanding of what it means to be an effective school, Cognia offers a plethora of evaluation and observation tools that will support predictable monitoring for evidence of consistent experiences across our schools and improved results. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you see the improvement tools such as validated surveys, experiential inventories, effective learning environment observation tool, the Elliott, which our secondary schools already use, planning tools for continuous improvement, and formative assessment resources. It also has tools for formative assessment, and then Canvas-based professional learning library for more personalized professional learning for our teachers. So what's next? This fall, classroom, district, and building leaders will be invited to a steering team. This team will navigate Omaha Public Schools through the system's self-assessment, candidacy, and evidence collection while simultaneously refining our current continuous improvement processes, templates, and cycles. Board meeting information opportunities, principal meetings, data meetings, and instructional network meetings will all be connected to similar topics throughout this coming year. These topics include a common understanding of effective schools and evidence of improvement and impact. And so the key takeaways are that accreditation is the launching point for continuous school improvement. A common K-12 systems accreditation supports evidence-based conversations and actions about what makes effective schools. The research-based performance standards offer a shared framework to achieve measurable, meaningful improvement. Cognia offers evaluation and observation tools to support predictable monitoring for evidence of consistent experience and improved results for our students. And systems accreditation is a key component of continuing to align our efforts from the classroom to the boardroom. Thank you so much, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Questions, colleagues? Mr. Thielen?
Thank you, Mr. Head. accreditation can often be a box-checking exercise. So first of all, congratulations and thank you for taking this, engaging in this process and really using it as a tool for improvement for the district. So I appreciate that. I do have a question around, two questions, I think they're kind of related, around how the you've talked about their standards, right? How that aligns to sort of our strategic plan goals and standards. And also, you talked a little bit about data and metrics, and I'm kind of wondering again about how that aligns to the data that we use internally and every day to kind of do our assessment of what's going on in the schools.
Yes. So, agreed that sometimes accreditation can be an exercise in compliance. Every 5 years, we have this external visit, we produce evidence, we have the findings, we move forward. What we're trying to work toward is a consistent system from year 1 to year 3 to year 5, where we're collecting that evidence all along the way. So it isn't just a single moment in time that we're walking away from, but an entire system. That those cycles from grade level teams to PLCs to schools continuous improvement to our strategic plan are all connected. And so last year we took the step of aligning our continuous school improvement goal areas to our strategic plan goal areas so that all of that data is connected, that we're measuring, again, from the classroom to the boardroom, common things. So those steps have been taken. And then I mentioned the steering committee that's meeting this coming year. A big part of their work will be ensuring that all of those pieces are in alignment, that we're having those conversations. And so this is a systems accreditation, which differs from a school by school by school accreditation. And so for each of the 30 performance standards, which are research-based around effective schools, we'll be collecting evidence and rating ourselves prior to that external review when the folks from Cognia come in and give their report. And so we're really hoping that through this candidacy year, we'll be doing the exact work that you just articulated of aligning all of those processes and systems and so forth. And we've already begun. This is just another step in our journey.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions, colleagues? Ms. Zerdenberger?
I'm going to go with the very basic, what is Cognia? Is it a methodology, or is it an actual organization that is coming in and working with us through this?
So Cognia is a globally recognized nonprofit accrediting body. So it used to be known as Advanced Ed. Before that, it was the Northwest Accreditation Association, something like that. Internationally recognized in terms of standards for effectiveness for schools from higher ed all the way to K-12. And so it is an external organization that we partner with to do our external reviews, and then we have access to their continuous improvement tools and so forth to support our own internal efforts. And I would add that allegedly the first accredited school in Nebraska was accredited by what is now Cognia in 1904. It was Central High School.
Okay,
Yes.
stick with, if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So will members of the Cognia organization, you said they'd be partnering with us. Are they going to be on site? There are some observation elements to this. Do they do that? Do we do it? Just to what extent are Cognia employees, I guess, helping us through this?
So both things. So we will be doing our own internal observations, ensuring all of those pieces are aligned with our learning framework. We'll be collecting that as evidence, aligning it, and putting that into our executive summary and all of our findings for our own candidacy. For the external review, Cognia has, I believe, 2 external evaluators, and then there is an external review team that's comprised of other superintendents, leaders from around the state or region that come and join us for that systems external review every 5 years, which will happen in our case in 24-25.
Okay. On slide 6 and 7, which you don't need to look at, but it lists a lot of things that are happening, from surveys to observations to assessments to formative feedback, so on and so forth. Is there at this point, or will there be at some point, sort of a master schedule of what's happening when that I would love to be able to see, but I don't know if it's something that anybody else would care about. But just sort of the notion of, okay, we're doing the surveys now, the observations are starting in January, or whatever's happening.
Yes, so to address sort of the second part
Okay.
of your question, the observations and those tools are done across this year and next. We are doing those. We are using those tools for our own continuous improvement. I have kind of an implementation matrix that I've looked at for the next 2 years, getting us to where we need to be. And then those tools are all that's available to us as we engage with this partner, and that steering committee will play a big role in looking at which of those items are most useful to us, when and how we might engage them in our continuous improvement processes, and there may be some that we hold off on or that we don't intend to use because they aren't connected to our strategic priorities.
I think your use of the term implementation matrix, and I think that's probably a post-steering committee thing, but what things are we going to do and when? Only one other question. You referred to 30 performance standards. What are they, and are they sort of like locked into place, or are those things that are being developed as well?
The 30 performance standards are research-based, sort of globally on what makes an effective school. So I'm going to go back to, this slide. And here you see those 4 check marks. Those are the key characteristics. Under each one of those key characteristics is a subset of standards. So for example, standard 30 is evidence of a balanced assessment system, just to paraphrase, right? And so you will have in September your board assessment workshop, which will be bringing in some of those standards, so we all begin to be familiar with what they mean and what the levels of implementation should be. So across this year, we're going to be pulling those into all of our work, into that kind of common arc of learning in all of our meetings. And so those are the key characteristics. All 30 standards connect under each one.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Ms. Cassidy?
Thank you, President Head. I think Ms. Erdenberger hit on a few of mine. I was going to ask about slide 7 and some of the board engagement, the assessment. I think you answered most of that. I think the only thing else I really wanted to kind of just clarify, I see that you have everyone listed in the steering committee, the steering team, the principal's district office. How often will those individuals have to meet to do this challenging work?
So our intention is to have monthly meetings. So our first step was engaging you all in this conversation. On Friday, we had a message out to all of our leaders and leadership links around this next alignment step that we're taking. And then we have this larger group of steering folks that includes everyone from deans to teachers to principals and so forth, to meet monthly across this year to engage in the candidacy process and all of the alignment processes to our continuous improvement, with the goal sort of culminating in being ready for that external review in 24-25, and then ensuring that our principal institute in June digs deeper into the levels of implementation that we need to be successful in the review.
It's very interesting work. Thank you for taking it on. As Mr. Thielen said, it's definitely a journey and a large process. How large is the steering group? I mean, is there a number, or I can imagine, I mean, I don't know if it was volunteer, you sought out certain folks?
It's large with the intention that we are capturing many stakeholder voices, with hoping to have some facilitation to ensure smaller groups, so that all voices are heard. It is a large group.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Ms. Juarez?
Yes, my question was similar to Tracy's, wanting to get clarification about this steering team. I guess the only thing that I would like to say about it is I hope that the members will be diverse, so that way, you're truly getting feedback from everyone. Thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Holman?
I don't have a question. I'm just going to add to what you've already stated. As someone who leads these external reviews and also participates on these external reviews for Cognia, this is a super duper comprehensive undertaking that we will be going through as a district. It may not sound like it just from the presentation that she's given, but there's so much work that goes into this process and getting prepared for the external reviewers to come from Cognia and take part in this. And I just want to wish you all well as you are preparing and beginning your journey and getting ready for the process, because I know how overwhelming and how big the undertaking is, and I'm very excited to be a part of the school district also going through Cognia. I know that we've done some schools. I don't know if we've done systems before, but I know that we've done schools, and that's a ton of work too. So I'm looking forward to seeing the systems review and everything that turns out with it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Ray?
I think it's, to everyone's point on slide 7 on the left side, we're bringing the board along with us on this journey with these scheduled workshops through, I believe we have them scheduled through January.
Yes.
On these topics, so you're part of this as we go through this system work and getting everybody on the same page and on the same journey. Because if you go back to slide 2, I mean, this is so important for our organization as we move forward, and that everyone's talking the same talk, working towards the same goal, and that collectively owned vision, which is our strategic plan. But getting back to it, this gets us to the work that we need to move this district forward. And so thank you.
I'd just like to echo Mr. Ray's comments. Thank you for your work on this, and I look forward to the first workshop on assessments in a couple of weeks so we can talk a little bit more.
Okay,
So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments before we? Nope. Thank you. All right, moving on, there's one receipt or report on the agenda this evening. Item K1 is the Environmental Stewardship Plan. So moving to closed session, Mr. Smith for a motion.
I move that the Board of Education go into closed session for the protection of the public interest and for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals to discuss with the interim superintendent, interim secretary to the board, and legal counsel pending litigation and legal advice.
All right, we have a motion to go into closed session. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by, was that you, Dr. Holman? Sorry. All right, motion by Mr. Smith, second by Dr. Holman. Dr. McFarland, please call the roll.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Erdenberger. Aye. Head.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
Juarez.
Aye.
Kratky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Thielen.
Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Let me remind the board that the purpose for closed session is for the protection of the public interest and the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals, to discuss with the interim superintendent, interim secretary of the board, and legal counsel pending litigation and legal advice. Let the record reflect that the board went into closed session at 6:43 p.m. Let the record reflect that the board returned from closed session at 6:58 PM. Let the record reflect that the board meeting adjourned at 6:58 PM.